Hello everybody.
Hello, good day. We've got a very special video for you today. We are in
Henley Fort. Well, it's Henley Fort, but technically it's Henley Mobilisation Centre.
So we've done a couple. You've done a fair few of the London Defence.
Yes.
Fortifications.
That's it. Well, very well said.
But this one is special because it has been reused, repurposed.
And it's the furthest one west.
And yes, geographically, it's a very interesting one.
In our defensive ring, it's the furthest one.
We will come to that in a minute. We shall show the map because we've got special permission to be here today. So this site has been reused by Surrey Council.
That's right.
Yeah. As a
outdoor activities.
Outdoor activities and education centre for our World War history. So it has been repurposed, which is fantastic. We will be sitting down with the team in a little while, and they will give you the history of that. So once the fort was reused, but we'll take you on a quick walk around, show you around of the mobilisation centre as it was first intended.
There's not much.
No, it's a petite little one. It's one of the smaller ones.
It is one of the smaller ones.
But very, very important.
But the views, before we start, are fantastic.
Yes.
And they really prove the statement that's meant to be made.
Yes, to defend going around London. So, shall we go have a look around?
Come on.
Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back. So we are now in the main only section of Fort Henley. So this is the casemates and stores. There are further additions which came later on in life past the mobilisation centre, but we're going to take you for a walk around and show you around. So the main part of the original mobilisation centre is this back wall. So these first two doors and windows would have been part of the casemates. And then, so there's a mirror image on the other side, and in the middle will be the parts. So coming in, we would start with the fuse stores, and then behind the fuse stores, there's always a gap, and there is a, say, lamp corridor, isn't it? Light corridor, which goes all the way around this middle section, which would have been for your shells. So this is where they've now reused this part of the fort for schools. So for your shell store, and we'll come past this blanket, and your secondary shell store, which it should say, yeah, on the door on the back. So very well labelled. And then your cartridges. So this would have made up your middle part of stores, and then your light passage would have come around. So there would have been lamp recesses all the way around. So that was to light the stores from the outside, not the inside. And then at the end would have been your small store for actual lamps. So extra lamp pieces. So this was the main section of the fort and mobilisation. And so you've got hatches as well for the outside. So one part on the fort, unfortunately, that doesn't exist, is there was once a staircase that went up to where the vents are. So we figured the vents would have come from potentially one of the cartridges and one of the shell stores. So on the inside. And then at the end, again, would be your other casemate. Not cartridge, your casemate, your secondary casemate on the other side. And that would have made up the foundation, the fabric makeup of the original mobilisation. So here we are in the furthest casemate, and this has been repurposed for the school activities and school learning. And in here is some amazing information boards on the fort itself and the ring defences that made up the London Defence Scheme. So these were mobilisation centres that were built on a curve around London, which were part of the mobilisation to defend against an invasion from France. So we are currently in Henley Grove, which is the furthest west fortification. It was built between 1880 and 1890. And with these mobilisation centres, they weren't predominantly manned. So they were staffed by a caretaker, but they weren't built as defensible positions. They were armaments, stores, so that the volunteer service could come and grab munitions, grab arms, should there be an invasion. So that was the purpose of the mobilisation centres, and we can see from all of these, they varied massively in size and style. And Fort Henley here is, I would say, one of the smaller ones. So it had a casemate and stores, and it was on just on one elevation. Whereas this board over here, so shows that in more detail. So it is just on one ground level. So it is got the defensible hill around it, and actually at the top of the hill, there wouldn't have been much trees or greenery. So the view over Guildford, I think he said on a good day, you could even see into London. You can see Heathrow. So this is how defensible, say, strategic a point this was. We can see an invasion coming. It's a good place to have arms on the need should there been an invasion from France. So one thing to say about Fort Henley is it was under care of the caretakers, as all the others were, but Fort Henley never had soldiers come to bear arms, take arms here. So one thing that we can mention and say about the caretakers is outside of the main fort itself is we've got these two extra buildings. So we've got our tool store, and this would have been the caretakers' cottages, which were usually single-storey, little cottage outside of the main fort. But these are now privately owned and not part of the fort now itself. So we are here down at the main gate, and it's got this little side addition, which has shutters on the outside of the gate. So it would have been essentially a guardhouse. So they could have used the shutters just to confirm who was coming and going, and allow access into the fort. So that is my tour for you of the original mobilisation centre. So we're now going to pass over to Tom from the team, who will tell you about the newer history and use of the fort now.
Hi, I'm Tom, the Senior Instructor at Henley Fort Outdoor Education Centre. One of the big advantages we have here of being a Victorian fort is we're able to run Key Stage 2 World War II linked history, where we can take up to 2 classes at a time, running through Home Guard and ARP activities of hands-on history, where we actually talk to them and get them involved with historical artefacts, training as members of the Home Guard and the ARP. This is one of our classrooms where we talk about the Home Guard and we talk about the invasion of Poland from Nazi Germany, and we also get them then kitted up. As an education site, we're generally closed to the public, apart from this year it will be September the 18th from 10:30 till 3 is our one open day as part of the English Heritage programme. So when it was turned into an education centre, it then got repurposed during World War II for the Home Guard, which were based here, which is part of our Living History programme, where we actually have the original photos of the Home Guard, which were based here, which would have been patrolling the local areas, and we believe running a roadblock up on the Hogsback, the A31. So we've had many school visits since it got bequeathed to Surrey County Council from the MOD, which was back on the 6th of May 1922. And that's when schools started coming over from Epsom for 2 weeks at a time. So we've been having school visits up here for now over 100 years, which is a really nice thing. Originally, it started off as looking at geology and geography for the school and science trips, and doing sports, things they couldn't learn inside the classroom. And that's still very much the same to today, with it being an outdoor education centre and part of Surrey Outdoor Learning Development and Surrey County Council, where young people can come up to us and with their school or with their group or organisation and they'll be able to do things like climbing, high ropes, canoeing, supping, World War II activities, but archery and woodland activities as well. One of the first schools coming up to us was Pound School up from Epsom, and they came up with 52 boys, and then followed that with a group of girls coming a couple of weeks after that. I say it's developed over the years. We've had some additionals. So on the back of the Home Guard hut, which is where we're sitting at the moment, is one of our Home Guard classrooms. And then back in the 1950s, 60s, the actual offices, toilets and kitchen were added to make it more amenable for groups staying. More recently, we can have up to 100 pupils staying in yurts accommodation, and we're actually in the process of having a climbing and high ropes course built.
Well, everyone, that is today's visit around Henley Fort. We hope you've enjoyed the history, and thank you so much to Tom and the team for showing us around, giving us the history, and thank you, Tom, for giving us the updated events that happen here, how the fort's now being used. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, it's just been a pleasure having you here. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. And that's it from us. So thank you for coming along, because history matters. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye bye bye.